seeking external validation for your sense of worth, your work life changes too. You become free to express your authentic gifts. The work that drains you because it's not aligned with who you are becomes impossible to sustain. The work that calls forth your genuine enthusiasm begins to magnetize toward you. This doesn't necessarily mean you quit your job tomorrow and become a full-time spiritual teacher. It means you begin to bring your whole self to whatever you're doing. You begin to work from inspiration rather than desperation, from authentic expression rather than obligation or fear. And here's what's beautiful. The more aligned your expression becomes with your true nature, the more value you naturally create in the world. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're operating from your natural flow, your inherent genius, the unique way consciousness moves through your particular system. But perhaps the most profound shift happens in how you relate to challenge, to difficulty, to what you used to call problems. When you understand that you are consciousness exploring itself through every experience, including the challenging ones, you begin to meet difficulty with curiosity rather than resistance. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop taking action when action is needed. It means you stop adding the extra layer of suffering that comes from believing that challenges shouldn't be happening, that their presence means something has gone wrong, that you've failed or fallen off your spiritual path. Challenges become opportunities to discover how deeply you trust your true nature. Difficult emotions become chances to practice staying present with the full spectrum of human experience. Unexpected circumstances become invitations to see how consciousness responds when it can't control the external situation. And in this shift from resistance to curiosity, from judgment to acceptance, from trying to fix everything to trusting the intelligence of what is, you discover a peace that doesn't depend on everything going according to plan. You find a joy that exists even in the middle of uncertainty. You access a love that can hold all of experience without needing to change any of it. This is what mastery actually looks like. Not the ability to control your reality, but the ability to be present with whatever reality is arising. Knowing that your peace, your joy, your sense of wholeness doesn't depend on external circumstances. And as you embody this more and more consistently, people around you begin to notice something different. They can't quite put their finger on what it is, but there's something about your presence that feels calming, grounding, inspiring. You're not trying to be anything special. You're not putting on a spiritual persona. You're simply being yourself from a place of deep self-acceptance. This is what I call becoming a field anchor. You become a point of coherence in the collective field that makes it easier for others to access their own natural state. Your embodied peace gives others permission to relax. Your authentic self-expression gives others permission to be themselves. Your willingness to be present with whatever is arising gives others the space to feel their own feelings without judgment. You begin to realize that your spiritual journey was never just about your own awakening. It was preparing you to be of service in a very specific way. By embodying the truth that seeking isn't necessary, that wholeness is your natural state, that consciousness doesn't need to be achieved because it's what you are. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to model this recognition. Not through preaching or teaching, but through simply being present as what you are. When someone comes to you in a state of anxiety or confusion or despair, you don't try to fix them or give them advice or convince them to see things differently. You simply meet them from the space of knowing that their essential nature is the same as yours. Whole, complete, already perfect. And in that meeting, in that recognition, something shifts. They feel seen not just in their struggle, but in their inherent wholeness. They experience what it's like to be in the presence of someone who isn't trying to change them, who isn't judging their experience, who simply holds the space for them to be exactly as they are. This is the work you're being invited into now. Not the work of becoming something more than you are, but the work of being so fully what you are that others remember what they are too. Tell me in the comments, what's one way you're already starting to embody this recognition in your daily life?